know, the law is a funny thing in this country. You think about it, right? When you get a letter through saying you've been fined, or you even get court papers, a summons, a lot of people's natural reaction is to sit there and think, oh my God, I got to pay this. But calm down. Read what you've been given. Think about the circumstances. It's not always the end of the story. You can, in a lot of cases, argue your case, and fairly successfully. Goes with any kind of court or legal issue, if you know what you're doing. Now, down in Bristol, somebody decided to take on a case, and it's actually quite impressive. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Last video of the day. Thank you very much for joining me again, and thank you ever so much for the support. Channel's growing, it's getting bigger and bigger every day, and I thank you very much for helping me to do that. Well, I've got my own legal issue at the moment. There's a parking management firm who, for now, will remain nameless, is taking me to court because they claim that I breached their apparent contract when I drove into a petrol forecourt, parked my car in an area where I shouldn't have done. The problem is I didn't park at all. All they've got is a picture of me driving out the place. Who knew? I'd love to see how that stands up, but I will report on that another time. The point is, I didn't go when the court paper came through. I thought, I'm going to bloody well fight my corner. Down in Bristol, 4 clean air zone fines have been overturned. Now, there's a driver that was so confident he could make this happen. He said he would appeal on behalf of other drivers that got caught out, and said, you know, I'm so confident I'll get this overturned, I'll pay your fine for you if I fail. Needless to say, he didn't. He didn't have to. He won. Now, a driver who successfully overturned 4 clean air zone fines claims he did so arguing technicalities in the legislation and regulations of the zones. And he said that the result of this may well mean that Bristol will have to pay back every clean air zone fine they've ever issued. I reckon that'll be a few quid. The man, who has declined to be named publicly at this stage, first took Bristol City Council to the Traffic Penalty Tribunal when he received 2 penalty charge notices for driving into Bristol's clean air zone earlier this year. The City Council said they wouldn't contest his appeal and withdrew the fines when the man, who we will refer to as Mr. L, told the tribunal adjudicator they were at least 10 errors and omissions in the wordings of the CAZ regulations and the PCM fine notices that drivers receive. So his 2 fines were not legally enforceable. This is the thing, it's all in the wording and the technicalities, and they try and ram it down everybody's throats. Mr. L said that rather than fight the case against this argument, the City Council withdrew the fines completely, with the driver claiming he suspected the City Council did not want to lose a case which would then set a precedent that may well end up with every CAZ fine having to be refunded. That's the important thing here. Whenever there's a case won, it does set a precedent which future cases can then refer back to. So confident was Mr. L of his argument that he then offered to take up an appeal on behalf of a complete stranger's Bristol CAZ fine. The 2 fines incurred by Andrea and Lee Phillips, the couple from Liverpool, were fined for driving in and out of the clean air zone on a weekend break to Bristol back in April. You fine people coming to see your city, they're not going to come. Mr. and Mrs. Phillips had already tried and failed to appeal the CAZ fines on the grounds that they were from Liverpool, didn't know anything about the clean air zone and didn't see the signs or know what they meant as they drove into the city. Bristol City Council has already turned down the couple's appeal on those grounds, down when Mr. L took up the case on their behalf. He even pledged to pay their fines for them if his strategy of challenging the legality of the clean air zone regulations didn't work. He made the same representations to the Traffic Penalty Tribunal, an independent judge-led ombudsman that assesses appeals against parking fines and penalty notices, for Mr. and Mrs. Phillips, and last week again Bristol City Council withdrew them, telling the tribunal they would not be contesting them, leaving the couple owing nothing. In its reasoning for not contesting the fines, the council effectively said it was letting off the couple because they didn't know about the clean air zone, which was the couple's original appeal argument that had already been dismissed by the council before Mr L got involved. The statement from the council said, on this occasion, the council will cancel the PCNs in favour of a warning given that the registered keeper of the vehicle is not from Bristol and may not have had prior knowledge or understanding of the clean air zone. Mr Lee Phillips, fully aware of the clean air zone and the requirement to pay a daily charge, therefore any further PCNs incurred will more than likely be upheld if challenged. In its reasoning for not contesting Mr L's own fines, the council said something different. Although the PCN was issued correctly, Bristol City Council will not contest this PCN, as we believe the notice of rejection has not adequately addressed the points stated to the original formal representation. So it does sound like an awful lot of technicalities, various points which he's pulled them up on. You can have a read of the rest of it below in the description. But, you know, if you know what you're talking about, you've done your research, you know the point to tackle, then go for it. Don't take it lying down. Now, in the unlikely event that Mr L is watching this video, I would dearly like to talk to you and you can tell me all about it. Hell, come on, we can have a chat. And best wishes to the Phillips as well. Looks like they've had a good result. Anyway, thank you very much. That's me done for today. Appreciate all the support as always. Make sure you hit all the right buttons in the right places. I'll see you tomorrow with more stuff. Toodaloo.